Hey everybody, this is going to be a quick overview of how to incorporate choice and voice when it comes to the idea of assessment. So we're going to start by having a quick conversation about the difference between voice and choice. When we speak of giving the students voice in the classroom, specifically through assessments, we're talking about giving them a sense of place, a sense of opinion, validating that in fact they come with beliefs, they come with ideas, and that we want to create a platform for those to be shared. When we speak of voice, we're talking about creating opportunities for kids to participate in, eventually own and drive their own learning. And this is a very authentic way to present content, but also to assess content, is putting the learner in the driver's seat and giving them a sense of voice. This really relies on a big pedagogical shift from a very traditional top-down approach where really when the teacher's in control of both the instructing as well as the assessing, we almost are developing a learned helplessness, a sense of compliance on their behalf and reliance on the teacher because it's more of a teacher-centered classroom. When we shift to a student-centered classroom, we're encouraging a sense of voice and choice because we're giving the learner more of an opportunity to take center stage. They become less dependent upon us in terms of the way they want to learn, how they learn, as well as in the way that they want to show what they know. So that when we speak of voice, I want you to think of creating a space for students to be able to have their opinions, their thoughts, their questions or concerns validated. When we speak of choice, we're really getting to the specifics of how they learn something and even possibly what they are learning. When we allow for opportunities for choice to be involved in instructional choices as well as assessment choices, we're moving them towards this idea of agency where they begin to take ownership of their own path. We're literally creating a structure in which they themselves chart their own course, create their own map. How are they going to get from point A to point B to point C? And then they have to deal with the consequences of where they end up if, in fact, we've put support structures that allow for opportunities for effective choice. So these options are going to let them engage with content, access information, express what they know and understand in much more personal ways because they're going to be at the center of the learning experience. I love how one teacher shares his experience of voice and choice in his classroom. Listen, it's just a short little video. He's going to explain very quickly how he came to balance choice and voice effectively when it comes to instruction and assessment. Let's listen.
Voice and choice. In the classroom, it's a balancing act. Not enough voice and choice, and you lose the student's buy-in. Too much voice and choice leads to ambiguity, writer's block, and missed opportunities. If you have too much voice and choice, you learn the importance of time management, decision making, collaboration, and what not to do. If you have too little voice and choice, you get stacks of the same things 50 color wheels, 50 essays, 50 lab logs. Everything's the same. The students will learn how to follow directions. Half of them will buy into the work because they want a good grade, and the other half will learn to hate the subject you teach. Student voice and choice is tempered with teachers' experience and preset parameters. My dear friend would tell me from time to time, the artist is he who dances in chains. We need voice, choice, and chains, or preset parameters. I have learned this the hard way many times. One semester we had the students make art about physics. We did make some cool stuff. We also cried, spent a small fortune, failed, and finished at the last possible moment. The next semester we did the project again, adding structure that required each student to use a 20-inch by 20-inch window box. They still made great projects, with choice. However, this time they looked good together, they came in on schedule, and the students felt better about their work because it wasn't rushed. It was planned and executed, and it looked great. I'm always playing with the amount of structure versus choice. Both are equally important and constantly need corrections. Recently, my teaching partner Kelly and I had the students make graphic novels from the short stories of Kurt Vonnegut's Welcome to the Monkey House. We used this book of 28 short stories and insisted the students use source images so we would not end up with stick figures. Some students, parents, and others said, "Why don't you let the students do whatever story they want? Why source images?" Well, I'm the teacher, and I need some sort of congruence to manage 50 students and their work. In the end, the exhibition was great and the book was beautiful too. As an artist, I still have to do what the customer wants. Come to think of it, when in life can you do whatever you want? Everyone has parameters. Pop singers have 3 minutes, accountants have the tax code, physicists have Newton, and artists have canvases, and students do too.
I think he encapsulates this idea of organized chaos in a way that was through trial and error. Many times teachers feel like when they offer choice and voice instructionally, environmentally, or through assessment options, that they're giving up complete control. And in fact, what the speaker was saying in this video is that this is where he found he needed the most structure. He had to put invisible parameters so that the visible choice and voice was taking center stage. But in the background, he created very, very highly structured parameters and boundaries so that the choices that students did make became successful ones. So when we look at it specifically through assessment, we're looking at assessment for learning. So a couple of questions should guide us in our pursuits to make our assessments more infused with choice and voice. First, how can the learner be at the center of an assessment? How can assessments be created for learning and for growth? How can the learner have opportunities to provide voice and choice in assessments that are teacher created, but also that may be student created? We know that the role of assessments change because we know more about things like how students learn. We know how brain research and learning outcomes have shown us that assessments change. We know that the positive connection between feedback and growth is there, it's present. We know that that impacts students' ability to demonstrate growth and what they know. And we know more about the importance of engagement and motivation. Choice and voice allows us to tackle all of these things when looking at the role of assessment and how it's changed. So some ideas that you're going to see in some of the upcoming videos for taking your traditional assessments and infusing them with more choice and voice, offering choices in the final products that you give, things like extension menus and choice boards, allowing for student reflection to occur before an assessment, during an assessment, or after participating in the assessment, and then validating that feedback, allowing there to be discussion, allowing students to actually see that you are utilizing their voices in a way that will drive next steps, allowing for self-assessment and revision to occur during or after an assessment. Co-designing rubrics with students so that they take ownership of those expectations. And finally, creating opportunities for students to offer feedback in regards to the design or process used to complete the assessment. When's the last time you've actually asked kids about how they thought a test was written? Probably never. Or how they felt a project had been written up for them to complete. Probably never. It's kind of, like I said, the last frontier that we think about infusing choice and voice, yet it is one of the most powerful opportunities to do so. So after you've taken a few notes down or jotted a few ideas down from this, go ahead back to Guru, and now you'll see some of this in action through the videos that I've posted for you.